what happened at the 2020 Billboard Music Awards, specifically with the BTS performance of Dynamite. Did you get to see the performance? Did you see the show? I know a lot of you commented in the comments that you weren't able to access NBC, you didn't have Hulu Live, specifically overseas. I think in India, there were a couple of comments on yesterday's video saying, help me out, where can I see it? If you run into that again in the future, probably the best way of doing that is with a VPN. And without getting into too many specifics, a VPN will allow you to trick the internet into thinking you're somewhere you're not. It's all legal. Look it up, Google it, and that may allow you to access NBC if you're in a country that doesn't normally have that. So check that out. But this video is all about breaking down the Billboard Music Awards, and we're going to talk about the BTS performance in just a second. The first thing I want to talk about is Kelly Clarkson. She came on and immediately started singing. She performed Higher Love, which is a Whitney Houston song, I think back in the 80s, maybe late 80s, early 90s. And it was a fitting song to open with. There were no words spoken before that. She just immediately started singing, and I thought that was a great way to open up the BBMAs. She was the previous, actually the first winner of American Idol, so singing on a stage is, that's old hat for her. She knows what she's doing with that. And I thought she did a good job overall hosting. She spent a lot of time in Nashville. That country accent kind of comes across when you watch her. But she did a great job, especially considering there wasn't anyone in the audience. It was a little bit weird watching some of the award winners come up and make acceptance speeches, and you're used to hearing that applause in the background after, and that wasn't there. Strangely and interestingly, she did have a sound effects machine, and she was playing around with that every once in a while just for a laugh, showing how they can create audience noise, and that was pretty funny. So that was fun to watch. But she did a great job hosting, I thought. Other than BTS, there were some really great performances there. I thought Post Malone's performance of Circles in the industrial complex, outside in the dark with fireworks, was a great, unique way of performing that song. I don't know if you saw that or not. I know a lot of you probably were just tuning in for the BTS performance towards the end of the show, but Post Malone did a good job performing Circles. He walked around in that complex. You saw a lot of tubes and these big giant iron pipes and things, some ladders there. And then he finally came down to the bottom and they shot fireworks off in the background, which provided for some pretty cool lighting. And he sang Circles. He also won some awards. He came up with his red solo cup as he usually does when he wins an award. And, I was a little concerned for him. It seemed like he was doing fine, but he won several awards. And his interaction with Kelly Clarkson was good. The chemistry there seemed natural. And, Post Malone, a lot of the Army fans love Post Malone, and I'm one of them. Another performance that was specifically notable was John Legend's performance of Never Break. And he dedicated this to his wife, Chrissy Teigen. You may remember they recently, a couple of weeks ago, announced that they lost their baby. She was pregnant and I guess had a miscarriage late in the pregnancy. And, say what you want about her or John Legend. I love hearing him sing. This tribute would almost bring anyone to tears. It was really good. And, I had not ever even heard that song before. But watching him perform it, mentioning her name, telling her it was for her, it was pretty moving, I must say. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. I'm sure it's online somewhere, but check that out. Towards the end of the night, En Vogue, another 90s girl band, sang Free Your Mind, which was a fitting song for current events. It's interesting because, 30 years ago they wrote this and performed it. Here they are 30 years later at the BBMAs performing it, and it's still relevant. A lot of energy in that song. Reminded me of BTS as far as how much energy they had. And these ladies are not 20 years old, so they still got it after all these years. That was a fun performance to watch, especially towards the end of the show. Another performance, this one was a little bit strange for me was Demi Lovato performed a song that seemed to be, I don't know if targeting is the right word, but it specifically mentioned the commander-in-chief. I guess she was talking about Trump. It was kind of an attack against him in this song. You know, whatever side of the political arena you fall on, I personally don't like that in songs. I don't like them. I know they see it as a way of using their platform and their audience to push their opinions, but I don't like that. I would rather you just sing the song and move on with it. That's why I don't get political on this page. You don't want to hear that from me. You can turn on the news and hear that. So I wish she wouldn't have done that. She has a beautiful voice. I know she has some history with the mental health parts of it, and maybe that's what she was trying to, maybe that was the point she was trying to get across, is awareness towards mental health. But I could have done without that one, to be quite honest. So let's talk about BTS. The first time we saw them on last night was when they accepted and won the award for Top Social Group. And this is the fourth year in a row they've won that. You know, when they were calling out the names for the other nominees, you almost feel bad for them because you know that's definitely going to BTS. Can you imagine if they didn't win that, the tweets that would go out? It would probably crash Twitter at that point. Probably came close even with them winning it, but it was cool to see them there. They had the you know, the maroon cranberry type vests on, so I wondered, you know, perhaps is this live, because when they actually performed they seemed to have the same outfits on, and I really enjoyed this performance of Dynamite. It was different. It wasn't that pastel, fun, summery feel to it. This was more like you were in a smoky jazz lounge, and a little more, I'd say even classy and stylish. I really liked the suits they had on, and I liked the feel of it. It seemed a little slowed down. The energy was still there in the performance, no doubt about that, but it just had a little different twist to it, which was cool. You've got to imagine, you know, no telling how many times they've performed this song. And to keep it fresh for the audience, they put just a little twist on it to make it different. And I thought that was genius. So I really enjoyed it. Did you get to watch the show? Did you see the performance? Comment down below. This morning, I woke up to the news that the owner of Big Hit just won big, like billions, with the I guess the shareholders. You know, they did an IPO, which is initial public offering, with Big Hit, and that's, without getting too technical, that's in the business world. That has to do with stocks and shares of the company. There was a huge boost in the share, in the stock price. I believe in Korea it's called won, W-O-N. That's what they use for dollars. And the numbers just skyrocketed. And he had back, I think in August, given the BTS members a pretty good stake in the company, in Big Hit. And because of this boost, they just became multi-millionaires. So they made a lot of money off of this, which is great news as far as I'm concerned. I would love to be able to buy some won myself. I guess you can go online. You can't do it through the Cash App stock app. I looked at that. That's not available. You can't buy won there. If anybody knows how to buy won, comment below. But other than that, I thought the BBMAs were fantastic. I really enjoyed the show. You know, I prefer a more cleaner version, you know, with good performances, and they kept everything mostly above board. There were a couple of moments where it got a little strange, but for me, I thought this was a solid BBMAs 2020 in the books. Let me know what you thought below. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more BTS content. Also be covering some New York City content, and so you know what to do if you want to see more of that. Until next time, have a great day, Army.